eating.
Okay, we're live now. It worked.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
everyone. It is Sunday. We're all warm, tired, exhausted, all of the above.
I'm sorry.
The heat is so draining.
It's like humid and hot, too.
Yeah, seriously, it is, though. It really is.
Yeah, so if we're just a little bit out of it today, we're sorry. We love you guys. We're just... It's summer in Arizona, and
we're just melting.
We're just gonna have a nice, chill conversation.
We're just melting. That's actually pretty accurate. We're melting.
Yeah.
Try to stay out of
Today, we're talking about bringing 2D characters to life, and it's pretty normal. So that's what most cosplayers end up doing, is bringing lots of 2D characters to life. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with introductions. I am Sam from ThermoCosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2014. And today I am Nanamine from Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
Yay. Oh, it's my turn. Okay. Hi, guys. So I'm Liz from Ambrose Cosplay. I've been cosplaying for a while. I can never remember the exact number, but it looks like it's just the Arizona crew today, which is kind of cool. I decided to go with Fix It Felicia today. I know it's more 3D animation, Wreck-It Ralph, but they usually start with like 2D drawings of the characters, and then they make it a 3D model later. So I thought it was still somewhat fitting, sort of fitting.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I'm so sorry. This weekend, I've been doing so much. I was Moana at an outdoor party yesterday, and then I was sweating at a Thai temple last night. So I just woke up and I was like, sorry, not today. But I'm wearing, my little Sit Sprites Miyazaki. So all Miyazaki is 2D, so that counts, right? I've been cosplaying since 2001, and of course, before I used to cosplay back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we didn't have 3D. So, hi.
Like, literally, who is having an outdoor party in Arizona right now?
It was a water party, and it was for my coworker had asked me, and I was like, yeah, sure. But I should have thought about like me becoming barefoot or whatever. Because so I would not have agreed to it, but my coworker asked me to do it for her. So,
oh my gosh. Still, I mean, like
I'm too nice.
You can't really get like wet because you're wearing the costume,
No, yeah, but I mean the kids like splashed water and that actually felt really nice. So
splash more, do it.
And luckily, as Moana, like I don't have any delicate fabrics or anything. It's just cotton, so
that's nice.
Yeah. So I wouldn't get in the water. I mean, I've gotten in the ocean in that costume, not in the ocean, but I've been around the ocean in that costume, so it'll survive. But yeah, enough about me. Let's talk about you guys.
Yay! So one of the big things when you're like trying to bring a cosplay character to life is trying to find really good reference art. I know that that's something I always struggle with, and it can definitely get tricky. So what are your methods for finding reference art for 2D characters? Like, what's the first place that you guys like to go?
And I think it depends on, where the character's from. Disney screen caps, if you're doing a Disney character, is a great resource for those characters because, they have screen caps of the whole movie for every movie, and not just Disney movies, but, like other 2D animated movies as well. Like really high quality screen caps where you can find, if you're willing to sift through the whole movie, you can find like the front, back, side, whatever character you need. I feel like that's, if I'm doing a Disney character, that's always where I look first, is Disney screen caps. What about you guys?
So, I do a lot of video game stuff. Yeah. So I have had to transition for this one because I was like, well, video game has a lot of 3D turnarounds, so I've been spoiled. But I agree with you when it comes to like 2D stuff. Like when I was like doing like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, or when you're basing it off of like an artist rendering, like Sunset Dragon designs, where you may only have a front and back and that's it, and it's just an artist rendition of it. I try to find references of how other cosplayers did it too. and then map it out, because I don't always find more than a front and back version. So like sometimes I don't know, is there an underskirt? What do the shoes look like? Sometimes they cut off at the knees, and then you have to guess what the shoes look like too. So for anime, it's a little bit easier just because everyone follows them. And so you can go on YouTube and you can just pause at a certain place, or you can go on Crunchyroll and pause at a certain place. Also, a lot of anime have art books. So I feel like anime and manga tend to be a little bit easier to cosplay from. Simply because, unless you're doing a really obscure character, then yeah, you're going to be in just as much trouble. It's going to be just as difficult.
Like the animated movies are making of books too that have not only like the different views of the costumes that made it into the movie, but also like some of the alternate costumes that like didn't make it into the film. They decided to like not go forward with it. And you know, you might get like other cosplay ideas just from those you know, not rejected designs, but the designs I didn't go with. Like there were a few for Frozen 2 that I was like, why didn't they pick that one? Like I want to do that one. That's
like the green Rapunzel. Like why did they not go green Rapunzel?
I love the green Rapunzel dress. Oh my god.
There's, other than Tiana, like there's no other green. There's so many pink, you know, like
pink and blue seems to be like really popular.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with Sam though. Looking at what other cosplayers have done, you might be able to find like a tutorial that someone else has done on the character where they already gather all the screen caps that are relevant for you, which is kind of nice. Like when I was making the making of Moana tutorial, I found like a bunch of screen caps for that. And so, you know, if you went through that tutorial, I already had like all the front, back, side, you know, different views of everything. So hopefully that helped a few people. I hope so anyways.
Yeah, Sam's got an art book there. I actually also collect art books, but obviously they're a lot more expensive to collect and stuff. But some of like my favorite ones, I have the art books of. I even have some Sailor Moon art books. So those are always good. Yeah, those are always good references, especially if you do video games as well, because a long time ago they used to have like the pictures in the instruction booklets. I used to like look at those religiously. Like sometimes they would have like different angles of the characters. But yeah, that's kind of what I had to do way back when.
The strategy guides for video games too. Sometimes they have like the 360 like view of the characters and stuff like that, or they're like weapons or whatever if you're making the props and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is not all video games are 3D either, so the art books help a lot. And then it's just you're going to have to either find a friend or use Google and search. Like I suggest using key terms or keywords and doing wildcard searches for that character's name. Make sure you like it's the character's name and then whatever series they're from, because a lot of characters have similar names now. Like people have started kind of like, oh, I like this character's name, and it's getting used way too much, and so then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I can't find this. But you might be able to if you just, you know, go hunting and with the like Nanamine from Toilet Bound, like you will find a bunch of images. But once you've found your images, there's also another complication that like I've encountered. So like I've found the images before, and I'm just gonna open this up, and then there's like the proportion trickiness, right? Where like every anime character is just like not, there's just no, I mean, most humans are not made that way. And so,
I would say all humans, just about.
Yeah, okay, we'll just be like, no humans made that way. So I have, like, for instance, I have like Gauri Gabriev from Slayers has, you know, a pretty typical male structure, except for like his hair is crazy long, and he does have a really, really narrow waist. So when I was making Gauri, I had to, and this is really like without going and watching the anime, this is like the only picture you find of him, other than a couple little 3D prints people have done where there's actually some inaccuracies, just because I've watched a lot of Slayers. So thankfully I've watched a lot of Slayers, like all of it, and so I actually do know what Gauri looks like. But aside from doing that, you're going to have to understand that if you're making a 2D character into real life, there will be times where you're going to have minor inaccuracies, and that's okay. Just embrace them. Just say it's your version of it, or you found this artist's rendition, you liked their rendition better. don't be upset if when you see the anime released or when you read the manga or when you find an actual figurine of a character. Like figurines are really useful for reference if you can. But if you find a figurine and it's different, it's probably because maybe that sculptor liked it looking like this, or maybe the team changed it for that particular season. So full 100% accuracy may not be possible with an anime or a manga or even like with any character truly. So just go for like the key points. Like for this character, he has super long blonde hair. He has very light colored blue like shirt and jacket with green leather sleeves, and then he has super blue armor. So as long as I stuck to that sort of key point and kept the shapes similar, then I knew people would be like, oh, that's Gowry, even if I took away some of the details. So like that's one of the things where like when I did a Gowry, I had to make some modifications also because I'm female, and I understood that like I was going to be a little bit curvier, and so I couldn't have his armor rounded out like he has it, because if it was rounded out, it would make my hips look wider. So I actually flattened all the armor and purposely made it very, very a tiny little arch on it and more flat so that it would make me look more masculine. You're going to have to make some modifications, right? And you're going to have to just understand that as long as you get as close as possible, that should be good enough.
I think it depends on, what you're going for too. A lot of people really do want that screen accuracy, right? And it really bothers them when you can't find the picture that you need. But I think it's like perfectly acceptable to completely make it your own. And like, if people don't recognize who you are, oh well. But I do know that's like a lot of the joy of cosplaying is when people do recognize you. I get that. Something that I find super frustrating with the reference photos, and actually Jinx, when I was looking for photos of Honey Marin, this is something I keep running into, is the photos aren't high quality enough, or the screenshots rather. They're like not high quality enough to see the detail. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like, come on, like, this has to exist somewhere, right? And I feel like that's almost like when it's time to like, you can't stress, I'm trying to find the details on her like hat, because Jinx asked me to the little diamonds. So I was like looking, and like all the photos are such like low quality that I'm like,
or you can't see like the top part of her head.
I would think even in the movie, like that's not. She's only in like a couple scenes, so it's not even easy to find it yourself. If we were to go like,
there you go, right there.
Barely, yeah.
Barely.
It's like so hard though.
And that's the thing is, I think with the more popular characters like Elsa, you're gonna find Elsa everywhere. More popular characters will be a lot easier to find reference photos, and of course, the more obscure you go, the more probably like more you're gonna have to fill it in yourself,
right, exactly.
And that's kind of what I find a lot with like characters that there just isn't very clear backs of, and I know this isn't a 2D character, but when I was making Jasmine from the movie, there was only like one scene where her back was showing, and I had already started drafting the costume, and then I came upon the scene where she actually turns around. I was like, oh crap. So I had to like change it up.
Like, I don't remember seeing the back of the Jasmine dress like at all in that movie.
Right. It's only one scene where she is in her father's office, and then she's talking to her dad and Jafar, and then she turns away and leaves. That's the only time. And I was like, oh, it's open in the back, because I was making it all closed. And I was like, no, I want to be as accurate as possible. And sometimes when you start going in that direction of like, I'll just go what I think it is, and then have to change it because you're like, I actually like how it is supposed to be better, because it's like open in the back with a little like gold like strap in the middle. So I had just some really nice details, and even hers, like that's a 2D, that's a 4D character, 4D, right? 4-dimensional. Are we 4-dimensional? Are we? Yeah.
We're like hot, you guys. We're tired. It's hot.
So hot. Yeah. Yeah. So, but a lot of times when you don't have that, you just, kind of go with it. And I feel like that's not usually a problem. And I know it probably doesn't make any sense to reference like back then, because everyone is so lucky now they get to have all sorts of references. But when I did this group, why is it like that? Why is it all weird? Wait, hold on. Okay, anyway, you can see this main part. I don't know why it's like this, but this is a Witchblade group, and we did like the different this was in 2009, so you can imagine it was a long time ago. But we did references based off of like one image, because a lot of these characters are like from the folklore of Witchblade. So we kind of just had to go with it, but you know, we weren't really super concerned about being too accurate, because it was more about the group as a whole. So sometimes you kind of have to forego details like that if you're in like a giant group. Sometimes I feel like in a giant group, it's better that the group kind of like the design is cohesive rather than like each individual person. That's just me. Like if I'm in a group for a group, like Sam's always assigning me to a group. I'd always rather like match the group than try and like stand out. That's just my
opinion. I would agree with that. Like if everybody
you guys do the Witchblade artifact characters, is that what you did?
These are like the witch, like I'm not that familiar with Witchblade, but apparently there's like bearers through the centuries or whatever. They're called bearers of the blade. So these are all from different like times. Like you've got like the caveman era, and then the next two are like the current ones. I think Sarah Pizzini, 2 versions of Sarah Pizzini, and then I was like the Wild West version, and then the one next to me is like the Anne Bonny version, you know. And then there's an anime. I think the other 2 are anime versions. I don't know. So we just kind of like went with what we had. So yeah,
I found it.
Yes.
That one little photo. That's it. That's all the bearers. That's it.
There was like the photo I was referencing off of was like one little panel in a comic. I was like, what the heck? I think this stuff is more newer, but back then they've
got some other like different characters too. Like that is not Witchblade.
But oh, Eamon Duckett is here. Hi. Got in late, no worries. Thanks so much for joining. I did a spot with his group at the Collectors Marketplace, so that was cool. That will be out soon. Yeah, so people are so lucky these days, because when we talk about like 3D video games, they come out with reference kits now. I always refer to Overwatch's reference kits. They have the 3D models in the T position, which is like the basic position for characters, and they've got like color palettes, and they even have what is the code for the colors? They call it the 6-digit letter code for each color.
Are you talking about the hex key?
Yeah, they even have hex keys for their colors, and I'm like, what the heck? So
that's so cool that I feel like they're keeping almost like cosplayers in mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, a lot of these video games and stuff, they're purposely, doing that.
It's all free advertising. Like, I mean, of course they've paid people to do it before, like official people, but when they can just get, a fan to do it and look as accurate as possible, they even share this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. So, yeah.
Why not?
So cool. I love it.
It's like everybody wins. So New Pinay Gamer, hi. Thanks for tuning in.
That's the thing. When you show that picture too, there are going to be people that like aren't going to fit proportionately the characters, because they're drawn characters, so you can do whatever you want. Some people will go in and they'll grab like tights and stuffing and make themselves look super dramatic, but understand that you're probably going to have to modify, lengthen, shorten, change design to fit your own body too.
I agree.
I love Sam has all the kind of freedom. She just like, I used to be really skeptical about cosplaying certain characters because of their like figures, but I love that Sam's just like, I don't care. I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna be this voluptuous Lady D, and I think that's cool. Like,
well, and that's the thing. Like, we did the little leaf young, like all the evolutions, and I mean nobody's body is made like that.
Very like chibi style.
Like, so like you're gonna have to like, okay, I there's no way I'm gonna have that big gap here. I'm gonna have to lower stuff. The little leaf part, I was like, how do I even make that? So I had to get in here and get creative and make some modifications to match what was shown, right? And that's okay.
Now, if we're gonna go into like fan art, because fan art is even harder to interpret, because now you're interpreting someone else's interpretation of it. And a lot of times, like fan artists, they just they create a design because they want to, and they put it out there. They don't have like, I mean, and they some do, but they don't have like art books of all the different, angles and everything. Although there are fan artists now that are taking advantage of it, like Hannah Alexander. If you join her Patreon, you can see she'll design backs of her versions.
That's so cool. Oh my God. What a great idea.
and she's actually been putting out like cosplay books too, because obviously a lot of people love to cosplay from her fan arts. So, I mean, that is like extreme 2D because you're, again, going off of someone else's interpretation. And then trying to like, you know, especially Sunset Dragon, she loves her butt capes. All sorts of butt capes. You got to figure out how to attach them. Velcro and magnets are your friend if you're cosplaying Sunset Dragon stuff. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's cool too because it's just, you know, art interpreting art. Yeah. The biggest appreciation I think you can do for an artist.
When I did Surge from Earth 616, there were literally only 2 pictures of her, and there were 2 different opposing pictures of her. And so like this is the only reference I had for this character. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is all I literally have. And like for her X-Men suit, there are plenty of pictures of her like when she was wearing casual clothing, but I wanted her like in her actual like X-Men attire. And so then I went digging, and I just eventually had to draw my own because this is the only other thing I found. And I was like, and then I found this too, but I realized that there were a lot of different artist renditions of her because she's just a really cool character, but there's just so little of her. And she kept changing like her appearance, and they changed her race so many times. And I was like, I don't even know at this point who this character is. But at the very end, I was like, this is cool. I don't think anyone's going to recognize me. And surprisingly, a lot of people are like, oh, Surge, I've only seen her in like 3 comics. And I'm like, yay.
Yeah. The really hardcore fans will know.
Yeah. And so like, just understand that if you're doing a cosplay of a really obscure character that you had to find like 3 images of, your likelihood of being recognized is going to be low. So you better be doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, actually, you made a really good point because I tend to draw them as well. And I know a lot of people out there can't draw, but if it helps you visualize things, that, you know, definitely do it because I've done that. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good example. But like
I'm pulling up our Moana stuff.
Okay, but like here's like really some rough drawings of like when I was making Chun-Li, like little details like how I was gonna like modify her skirt and like all these ones I used. I made what are they called? Heat and bond fabrics, and like Sam has there. So Sam actually created that for ours, and then I went and kind of altered it a little bit. So that was my. Actually, she made 2 versions of my Moana. So this is kind of based off the other one that she made too.
Why is it no?
That's good.
But yeah.
I love the Moana warrior designs. Oh my gosh.
I know someday we'll release.
I am changing up Tamatoa though after having worn that skirt and the costume 16 pounds. I can't do it, guys. It was
wait. How heavy is your Yojimbo?
About 8 pounds.
Oh wow! Okay.
I warned you, Sam. I warned you about those.
Yeah, you did. And I was like, "I'll be fine." And then my hips were like, "I hate you."
What if you made some sort of like harness that went over your shoulders?
It's just the point is walking in it too is going to be so troublesome.
Right,
and trip over the coins because they want to drag and move, and I'm like, I'll rip all these coins off. Like,
remember our choreography too.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I don't know how that's gonna fly.
Hi, Chris. Yeah, so that's the thing too. When you're thinking about interpreting 2D into 3D, like into real life, also consider what you're physically able to bear and wear. Because when I drew the Tamatoa, I was like, oh, this gold coin fabric, so cool, it's gonna be awesome. And I did a photo shoot, just one photo shoot, and I was like, I don't ever want to wear this again, and that's a problem. So I'm going to need to figure this back out because I do want to be Tamatoa, but I don't ever want to wear this design again.
Yeah,
and that's happened to me before too with some cosplays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And like there's some cosplays that you decide where you're gonna wear them to only. Like your Sarah, right? Your Sarah is not a hall cosplay. Like my Jasmine's not a hall cosplay. Like that's not something I'm gonna wear just to walk around the halls. Like it's competition or photo shoot only.
Actually, I had a friend recently. Labyrinth of Jareth Ball is happening this August. It's opening back up, and I super sweet. She was like, "Oh my gosh, like you should wear your Sarah because like I love it." And it was like so kind, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't think I can." Like, I don't think I'm capable of wearing it for very long anymore. I would have to I would wear it seriously for like an hour and then be like, "Get me out of this."
Yeah, for sure. Maybe if they like paid you to be like a guest appearance or something, I would totally, yeah. But if just to wear, yeah, no, I agree. It'd be difficult.
I think Sam brings up a really good point when you're, bringing 2D into real life. Something that you do kind of have to keep in mind is that, when you're drawing Belle in her ball gown, you can make the ball gown do whatever you want because it's two-dimensional. I know a lot of the new animated movies and video games and stuff, they actually do kind of like in their programs have the fabrics and stuff move kind of the way fabrics would, which is really neat. Yeah. But some of the older stuff, you can make it do whatever you want. So that doesn't always translate great into real life. Things that you have to think about, like, do I want to do a hoop skirt, a petticoat, whatever, in order to make it pop out the way that you want it to look. I've seen that question in the fairy tale cosplay groups a lot. Like, oh, well, I made this skirt, but it's not like the right shape. Like, what do I do? And people will offer their advice and things like that. But
yeah, hoop skirts and petty skirts and layers. Like, I mean, even like Nurse Joy from Pokemon. Like her skirt flares out unnaturally, so you have to put a petticoat under there if you want it to have the volume that hers has.
Or anything from Clamp.
So bizarre. You're like, I made this cute circle skirt. It's so easy. And then you put it on, you're like, why is it flat? Because you need a petticoat.
Mm-hmm. So even though Nurse Joy isn't wearing a petticoat in the show, you can't see one. Like, you're going to need one anyways in order to get that shape.
Yeah. And also, when we're talking about like older cartoons like that, excuse me. Like obviously like all the old 2D Disney movies, obviously the characters' outfits are supposed to be grand, but we see them only in like one color, and of course there's no designs because they can't do all that in 2D. Like those were all hand drawn. So like if you want to go movie accurate, I think it's totally cool to like get some, fabric with some texture. Like, I don't know if you can see this here, but there's like digital designs in this cotton of just kind of like some floral, because if Ariel was to wear something like this in real life, she wouldn't just be wearing flat blue. Her fabrics would be more elegant. I put little lace details on the blouse because that's what they would have put a princess in or whatever. Especially like, I love seeing all the interpretations of Belle's yellow dress. There's so many people love to take freedoms with it. And I think it's great because of course we look at her 2D cartoon and it's just a yellow dress. Like, they wouldn't have this just plain yellow dress in the palace wardrobe. It would have been much more grand. And to see people in real life like choose really beautiful, delicate like fabrics with a lot of detail, I think that's what really brings a 2D character to life, is when you put it in the actual real world of what it would be like. So, this photo was taken by Sam.
Like, you don't need to get so caught up with the screen accuracy that you feel like you can't add those personal touches, like choosing a patterned fabric or like adding lace or appliques or whatever and making it a little bit fancier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when you see like dresses like Cinderella's dress. Okay, so Cinderella's dress, you would think like, okay, well, the fairy godmother put her in this dress, any dress that she could have possibly made, and it's this, it's like, it's kind of blah. But then when you see people do it, and in the parks as well, this beautiful like brocade fabrics and everything, I love that. And I always love to see people's versions of the movie version of the characters' dresses.
I don't love all the Disney parks costumes, but
the way they interpret it as well, they translate it into real life as well. So they
have done some cool versions. I love the fabrics that they come up with for sure.
Definitely the fabrics.
Yeah. I think there have been some missteps with some of the designs, but when they revamped the princesses this last time, you can tell they definitely they made like custom fabrics for like each of them, and that was really, really cool.
Right, because when you think about these princesses, they would be in a lot more elegant fabrics, of course. So, yeah.
And Sam kind of mentioned something earlier, too, that you're definitely allowed to make things more manageable for yourself as well. Like, that character she was showing that had the really, really long hair, you don't necessarily need to have like ankle length hair for your character. That's going to get tangled super fast. And it's just going to be so annoying. And the longer the hair gets, the heavier it gets, which means the less, if you want to put any volume in it, the less it's going to stick out because it's so heavy. So you can do things like kind of alter the hairstyle or go with like a shorter wig if that's more manageable for you. I would like never walk through a con hall with like an ankle length wig. That sounds like a nightmare. Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine the people stepping on it and everything? Like, oh,
the people who do that, like you guys are warriors. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. Vaughn says, I do drawings like those for parts I want to build and print. I have a falling block lever action for my Mando build.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Falling block lever.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar to me. I mean, if that's like 3D printing, I don't know like anything about
3D
printing.
I mean, obviously, like we go into 3D printing. It's interesting to see that like the 2D things go into 3D printing. That's always fun. It's something I have no idea about, so I can't talk on it. Sorry, but that's definitely an interesting part of translating 2D to 3D.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I'm trying to pull up something right now to show you guys, but like there's one like I love Claymore, and I think it's like really cool, and they've done like amazing character development. But I have to tell you, like, being a Claymore is really difficult because I'm gonna just kind of pull up a picture here. The way that they're drawn is awesome, but they also have like this crotch seam that is just like it's literally yeah, I would not do that, guys.
Let's see the crotch seam.
Crotch seam. I mean, look at that crotch seam right there.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so.
This looks like it was painted on her body.
It looks wrong. It doesn't look like it should be there, guys. You can make pants without having a seam right here in the crotch. It's just like, please, no.
Oh my gosh.
And so when I did my Claymore, when I did my Claymore, I was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm gonna change this. That's a really, really awkward place to have a seam. So like I actually made it a little bit smaller and less pronounced. And I also used fabric that wasn't quite like their fabric's a little bit darker of a white. It's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of unusual, but I brightened up all of the armor. And then I also carefully placed the armor closer to my crotch area so that I could hide that weird little seam because they're trying to get the front seam and the front, like these seams to line up to make it look like a bodysuit, even though it's a shirt and pants. And I get what they were trying to do, but it was just really awkward placement. And the thing is, too, the outside of their capes were always white, but the inside were gray. So I just did 2 different fabric choices because I think they were just trying to show shadow, but they always did it in a really weird way. And I made some modifications even to their armor, too, because it's really, really big and layered, and I wanted it to be lightweight. I'm forgetting the neck piece's name right now for armor, but this right here, when I made that, I made it all out of fabric because I tried making it out of foam, and I couldn't tolerate wearing it. So there's going to be, like I said, there's some things that you think you can handle it, and then you start trying to wear it, and you can't tolerate it. So be sure to be kind to yourself when you're figuring out how to wear your costumes too.
Right. Remember that cosplay is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's painful. But don't let the suffering get in the way.
No, and the thing is too, like I've done commissions, right? And I've done quite a few Dragon Ball Z commissions that seems to be very popular. And they just have these ridiculous shoulders, like every time. Like
very, very 80s shoulder right there.
Very 80s shoulder, right?
And how they're supposed to be able to fight in that is so ridiculous.
And they have no seams because it's animated, right? And then their pants are extra puffy, and you're just like, honestly, like, how do you even move around in all of this stuff? This is just bizarre.
How indeed.
So, and this was another one where I only had a few references at the back, like it was from the figurine box. But if you look in the anime, the colors, like from here to here, the colors are already different. And then on the box, they were different. So like I had to figure out too what colors I was choosing because the shades were just enough different each time that I'm like, what am I going to do? So I made this for for a client, and it ended up looking pretty nice actually, maybe it's at the top. It ended up looking pretty nice in the end. But it's one of those things that I was just like, where is this picture of him wearing it? Okay, whatever. I can't find it. So you can see the actual costume. So when he puts the pants on, they do puff up a little bit. But to achieve this look, I had to put wire. I had to put interfacing into this, and then I had to feed wire through the seam right here. add bias and hide everything so that it would stay.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Especially I think with commissions, it's important that you consider all of those things that she just said, because the person wearing it, obviously they're gonna want at least a certain degree of comfort, I would assume. I don't know of a whole lot of people who would like commission something and then be like, I want it screen accurate. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. Like,
I'm sure there are people that do.
Oh, I'm sure there are, for sure.
And I think
for his like little belt thing, it was just like, you can't actually tie it up to make it look the way he wants. So I created a separate piece that Velcros on. And so this is all Velcro together. And then there's a little piece of Velcro underneath that you fold this little cute flap over. And then I just spread it out underneath. So it was just
super
2 parts.
Clever.
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually a good point, because a lot of people think to take things so literally. And I'm trying to find a picture here so I can actually talk about the reference. I'm looking for a picture of my sister's Umbreon.
Oh, I found the picture of the guy. I just put it on my website, but you guys can see like just at least what he looks like. Like, it looks pretty good. It looks like the character. So he did a good job. And even with me showing him how to put the waist belt on, it was still a little confusing for him. And then he was like, it kind of felt weird. I just did it like this. It still looked good. So like, you can make minor modifications. Like, there are some costumes, like I bought this costume and like my little thing's falling off. I bought this costume and I was like, I don't like the fact that like, they were like, oh yeah, we're making it for someone who's between 5'9" and 5'11". And so I put it on, and the skirt is for someone between 5'9" and 5'11", but the waist, which is supposed to be another 4 inches lower, is right under my breast. So I'm going to have to modify this. Like, I'm going to have to take it completely apart and lengthen it.
Yeah. So what
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I helped her with her bodysuit. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Sam did the bodysuit. But what I'm referencing here is that like this design had like a lace-up like straps on her legs, and my sister was like, "How the heck?" And I was like, "Look, let's take black elastic. We'll wrap it around on top of this sock thing, and then we'll sew it to the sock. So that way you just pull it up and it's one piece. So you don't have to wrap it every single time."
I love that.
Yeah, so things like that is like where you need to look at like how to make it more functional.
Yeah, if you move over to Arlena, the purple leg, like she used like a string and some other things to like tack stuff on so that those leggings would stay up.
It's actually 2 pieces.
Her feet were pulling at it a little bit.
And it's actually 2 pieces because she's got something over the shoe, and she was able to hide the seam.
That little gold piece hides the fact that it's not one solid boot.
Yeah, so like you got to think about things like that, because when a lot of people draw 2D, they might, even if they are some designers or anything, they might not always have. When we're doing fantasy characters, we just do whatever we want, right? Because we can. So I'm trying to see who else has some tricky stuff.
I had 5 those are separate too, and I had them pulled up to my underwear and clipped onto little clips. So those are just socks, like really high socks.
Yeah.
On my Instructables, I actually did a tutorial on Ray's arm wraps where I made them out of elastic. So it's just one piece, you just pull it on.
Yeah, see, so it's a lot easier than having to like wrap it every single time.
Oh yeah,
I think that's about all the tricks we had here. But yeah, definitely when I see people like, how do I do this wrap? I'm like, sew it. Just make it one piece. Don't stress out about it so much.
My Wonder Woman arm wraps, I have to wrap every single time, and they, they get loose, they come undone, and it's just, it's kind of annoying. You have to like keep rewrapping them all day, so they don't. Like,
I mean, sometimes depending on how they look, I would think that those probably would look more natural if you had wrapped them yourself. But
yeah, and they look fine for a bit, but they do start to kind of unravel, and it's just a pain in the butt, honestly.
Yeah.
I had such a hard time with Aqua because, she's a video game character, and, with the video game characters, they can basically just like paint the clothes on to them, almost like it's body paint, right? And it just stays there. Getting the harness to stay, I have like pleather on pleather because she's got these like little boob cups, and then the harness is pleather goes over it.
Boob cups.
They're like little boob cups, and so they like slide against each other. And yes, I could add snaps to them. I haven't done that because I'm lazy. But like getting it to stay in place is like such a pain in the butt. And I know that's like a very frustrating feeling when you're like, why is it not working like the character? And it's like,
I know, especially like anything designed by Tetsuo Nomura, I think is like, that's like an ultimate challenge, is how do I get this to defy gravity and still be able to fight? You know, like,
right?
Well, I mean, even like you did, like this was cool, like the.
Oh yeah, the Hades with the cape.
Yes.
Yes. Sam did the makeup for that one, the body paint.
Was fun.
Oh my gosh, she did such a good job. I love that.
So yeah, so good.
And that's another thing too. Like you tricked, like I like the Hercules where you literally put like it looks like little bias or wire, and just were like, here we go.
Yeah. Well, and his so his breastplate is made of foam, but the skirt is made of leather, and so he's wearing like little suspenders to keep the skirt up, almost like a little like barrel with suspenders. It just cracks me up,
like right underneath, so that nobody can see it.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
Really the only way to keep it up, you know, at wherever he wants it. And of course, like, you know, at Hades, I used a bodysuit, arm socks, and tights so that we wouldn't have to paint all of me. We just painted the neck up basically, and the rest of it is all matching arm socks.
Like right along. We painted just a little bit outside of the edge of the clothing, like underneath, so that if it shifted at all, it was covered.
Right. Sam did such a good job with the body paint. Oh my gosh.
Dude, it was fun. Like I like body painting people, so if we're at a con and I have time,
Sam's a wizard. Oh, we have a couple comments here. Vaughn says, oh, he was referring to the falling block lever action. He says it's an old style lever action rifle design similar to the cowboy gun. Shane from Facebook. Shane from Facebook says, oh, my love-hate relationship with 2D character cosplays, and especially when people want to go and, cosplay those older animes or animations that don't have as many references. Right. So I'm going to share something a little bit vintage here. So of course, when you talk about retro anime, you know, me and Sam are big on retro anime. This is Dirty Pair Flash, I think came out in like the early 90s.
It was 94 or 95, I think.
Yeah, and one of the many incarnations of Dirty Pair. So this is me and my sister. This is like my sister's first cosplay, I think. But like these shorts were like supposed to defy gravity, and we're like, what the heck? This was back in 2003 or 4. So we actually took like wire hanger and like taped it on the inside of the shorts. Yeah, definitely there's better ways to do it now. But when we think about how the heck did they draw this, that's definitely one of the ways. And then like mine was this weird like over the swimsuit outfit thing that I didn't know what the back looked like, so it's just a full back.
Yeah, that's what we did to trick the back, because a lot of the backs you don't see with Dirty Pair, so we put a strip on them so that her shorts would be suspended and my skirt would be suspended, and then nobody knew from the front how these magic things were held up, and it was just these little strips of fabric in the same color.
Yes, so it was
that. Oh shoot. It's not, I'm forgetting the cosplayer. But well, obviously lots of cosplayers have done this. But if your character has like thigh highs or like thigh high boots, they would sew the thigh highs to a pair of like nude pantyhose. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
And like, but they'd have to be like dance pairs, because regular, just the ones that you buy in the grocery stores are going to rip. So you have to make sure that they are high quality dance stockings.
Like keep your thigh highs up. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so smart. Duh.
Yeah, can you imagine? I know. I need to start doing that too. I still don't. But here's another tip. This is obviously not a 2D character, but this is another tip where you kind of change things to fit real life. This is obviously a vault suit, but it's 2 pieces. And I stole that idea from what company sells the 2-piece? I think it's Mike Costumes. They actually sell it in 2 pieces. Yeah, they sell it in 2 pieces, and I was like, that's brilliant. So when I made mine in 2 pieces, so I'm not constantly naked when I'm going pee, because that's weird. So it's actually just a pair of pants and then a jacket that goes over it, so it looks like 1 piece. So in places like that, wherever you can make life easier, like do it. You know, I know people are going to look at this and be like, I have to make a jumpsuit. No, you don't. Make something that's more comfortable. Yeah. So
I think that's a great idea. Like if you have a jumpsuit to make it into 2 pieces for literally that reason, like think about how you're going to go to the bathroom.
I do that a lot with like dresses too. Like if there's like I did with my Black Cat Diva dress, it like, cause she wears a cincher in the middle. So I made it 2 pieces because it's just easier to like manage 2 pieces than a one whole dress, you know?
Right.
That's just my thing. I feel it's easier just to make 2 pieces, a blouse and a skirt.
Same with like the Disney princess dresses.
Yes.
I see a lot of people who are like, it's so heavy. Like, why is it doing that? It's because, you made it a dress. And so you have this huge ball gown skirt that's weighing down the whole thing. If you notice, like, the Disney parks do it too, where it's a bodice and a skirt and they're two separate pieces. Like, they're not a full dress.
See here. I think I've got it here. When I did Snow
White,
it's a shirt and a skirt. Oh no.
Oh, Sam, you broke it.
But yeah, most big ball gowns like that, I mean, they, like, lots of people that make big ball gowns tend to make them two pieces unless they are going for some sort of like historical accuracy. But you'll see a lot of them if you buy from a lot of these retailers or companies that like custom make them, they'll make them in two pieces.
Right.
And it's so much easier to maintain that way as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't need to clean the whole thing. If maybe you just want to spot clean, or you can, maybe one part is machine washable and the other one's not. And in many ways, you can make life easier for yourself. What I do a lot of times is if I have stuff like my Bahamut costume, I have this bodysuit, but then it has all this like stuff on it. So I actually made everything detachable, all of the foam pieces detachable, so I can throw the bodysuit in the washing machine.
That's so smart. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Instead of like gluing things on and then you're like, oh, how do I clean this? Especially something that's close to your body that you're going to sweat in. Like if it's not something you're going to sweat in so much that you can spot clean. Yeah. But for a body, like for this bodysuit, I definitely wanted to be able to wash it. So.
And then what are we sharing here? There's literally one picture of them and their maids.
Oh yeah. And we had to just like wing it.
Level of interpretation here is intense.
But it's fun that way. Like, I think when people cosplay from like non-canon art, like you can have a lot more fun with it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Ray says, "Oh my God, Dirty Pair!" I know, it's so old school. I'd love to redo that one, but there's so much on the to-do list.
I want to redo it too. They have like a couple different versions too. Like, I just freaking love Dirty Pair. I think I just found mine, so I was like, here you go. More Dirty Pair. Here you go.
Yay! Aww. That's the first time I saw Sam was in that outfit, but from far away. And I was like, oh, I did that costume too. And then she was like, hey, I'm stalking you. I'm like, oh, I know who you are. I saw you. I saw you. Okay,
so cute.
Sorry.
That wig was real heavy though. That was a good wig, and it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Oh wow, we're already like getting close to the end. Guys, if you have any questions about anything, doesn't even have to be about today's topic, you can throw them in the chat.
I'll share this because like I cosplayed a group from the Arcana game, which is it's a mobile video game, and it's not a video game, it's just art, right? So it's just still images, usually only one image. You might get like a side profile and a front profile, and that's pretty much it. And so I joined this group, and it was really cool seeing everyone's interpretation of those characters because there are so few images from them.
Yeah.
So, it was, I did Azra, and I had to make a lot of like changes and adjustments because I was like, how am I going to make this work with really only having a couple pictures of this character? So don't be afraid to kind of like we said, don't be afraid to guess and to make adjustments and get as close as possible to the character as you can. We did like the barmaids from Seven Deadly Sins, and some of us lengthened our shirts to feel more comfortable. And then we also painted on all of our thigh highs because we were tired of them slipping, and we're like, screw this, we're gonna stay. So you can just totally get creative with how you're going to do things. And that's okay. Honestly, it's easier that way. And this is where you can see, you can't quite see it on my wig because my wig's hiding it, but it's a little tiny piece of fabric, like right there. And she has one too. See right here in the back, it's actually a bra strap that she can snap on. So she can unsnap it and use the bathroom.
Oh, that's a good idea. We didn't do that with my sisters. She just had to suck it up.
Yeah, mine had a snap and so did hers. But
I think the older I get, the more I think about, can I pee in this?
Oh yes. Yeah, no, I agree. Because there are some people who
there you go. You can see it. You can see it right there. See?
Oh yeah.
They can hold it the whole con day. I'm like, I'm probably gonna have to pee at some point. Like,
oh God, I did it once. I've always mentioned it with my Widowmaker. Never again. If I ever wear something like that, only an hour or two tops. Ray says, I think Dirty Pair was my first anime. So what I love about Dirty Pair is so many different incarnations. I don't know if if you guys know of the Adam Warren version, that is my favorite. I love the Adam Warren version of Dirty Pair.
Is that the OG one or the?
No, the OG one was in the 70s where they're wearing like these like metallic-y looking bathing suits. And then there's Dirty Pair Flash, which is the one that came out in the 90s. And then Adam Warren got the rights to it, I think, around the 2000s. And
I didn't know there's another one.
Yeah, the one I do my doppelganger Yuri from is from that. And I think he kind of revamped the metal bikini, but then he also did a lot of other cool stuff with it.
Was it just a manga or did he do an anime too?
Graphic novels only.
Graphic, okay.
Because right now he's doing, I think it's called Super Powered or Overpowered, the one he does about the superhero girl. But he's done other versions of like Gen 13. If you guys know Gen 13, he did a couple of books on that, but his Dirty Pair, I think, is what he took like the furthest, expanded on it the most out of all the other series that he ever did, I believe.
I'm so bad, guys. I haven't seen literally any of them.
It's okay. You're like the Disney person here. She does like all the Disney cosplays, so you're good.
We'll have to like watch it together sometime.
Yes, we have to do like an anime marathon or something next time we go to a cabin.
You guys always talk about it, and I'm like, I know literally nothing about it.
I would be willing to watch them again because, like I said, it's been so long since I watched it. I watched Bubblegum Crisis again recently. Like I was telling Sam, I was like, wow, this is the old 80s version of it. I'm like, this has not aged well at all.
Oh, guys, I found screenshots of when I was on stage as Dirty Pair with Lena. So, like,
so cute.
Yay. And I forgot I didn't have a piece of, I had a magnetic snap on the back so you can see when I turn around because I put my gun on it too.
Oh, cool.
So right there, I had a magnetic snap. So I put my gun and my bodysuit snap together.
So cute.
Sam, you're always thinking like 5 steps ahead. I feel like Sam does cosplay like 4D chess. Like she's doing
4D chess.
She knows like what's coming like years from now. So I don't even know. And meanwhile, I'm like making a skirt and I'm like, I didn't leave room for the zipper. How is this gonna get on my person?
I'll just have to sew it on.
Or just sewing myself into it right before the con. This is what's
making it work.
That's make it work. Figure it out.
But yeah, you can definitely like make things your own. As long as you like it, right? Like it's your costume. And I feel like even if it's a competition piece and you're like, it has to be screen accurate, like it really doesn't. I feel like as long as you explain to the judges, like I made X, Y changes for this reason. I feel like they get it. It's pretty easy to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. All right, I gotcha.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, Kagome.
Oh, we're looking at me now. That's the one I had to alter so much. Like I bought that from China, the costume, and I had to alter it so much because like it was a large, but I guess they thought large meant like tall.
Oh no.
It was like so long. So
well, to be fair, like a lot of Americans are very tall. So I get it.
I guess that's probably what they thought, yeah. Like, yay. I just had to fix the arms on that one. The arms were like super long. They were like super, super, super long. Yay. That's a really cool place to shoot. I was like surprised I found it. Like it was good.
It's magic hidden stuff.
Yay. And then I just wanted to like, this is obviously not a 2D character again, but this is a little bit more like creative freedom because I don't watch or read Game of Thrones. You can see that's, what's his name? Jamie Lannister. But my friends all did, this is my cousin. My friends all wanted to do a group cosplay together, and I was like, I don't know, just assign me. So they were like, you can be that one Sand sister. And I was like, well, what does she look like? Oh, I don't like that outfit in the show. And then they're like, well, this is what she's like in the book. So I mashed those two descriptions together, and I was like that Sand sister. And I'm sorry, I can't even remember her name. Obara Sand. So, and that was just fun because we just had all the same fabrics. So we just looked, as cohesive as we could, but I was just some random mashup of a character of the TV and book version. So that was more fun for me. I just wanted to hang out and be like seen with these people. And of course, Jamie Lannister was like, oh my God, you guys look great. I'm like, you look great. So, oh my God, I was like, I know who he is, but I don't watch the show, but like in person, I was like, you're so pretty. And he was so excited to see us. So yeah, if moments like that help, like cosplay gets you moments like that, do whatever you need to do, because that was memorable, more memorable than who I was, because I told you I couldn't even remember who I was.
So that's the moral of the story. If you're translating 2D to 3D, do whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah. And have fun, because I know I love to be accurate too, but I do enjoy the feeling it gives me more than, having to be accurate.
Seriously.
Oh,
So we had done these pictures for Lore Olympus, Hades and Persephone, kind of as like a test, like a makeup test. And so what I kind of discovered was I don't really like having the skin and hair be the same color, even though that's what it looks like in the comic.
Yeah.
Looking at the pictures, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a lighter skin tone of pink, darker hair. So, I'm glad that we did the test, because now I know, like, when we do the real thing, I know what direction I want to go in, and I want to do the skin a little bit lighter.
What's so funny is that's a really good example, because Lore Olympus, her art style is so unique and different. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's a webtoon, so it's a web comic, and it's not been in any other form but a flat comic 2D form. And her art style is so unique, and it looks very simply painted. So I do see a lot of people interpret it different ways. They want to take that exact flat, like, opaque color, but like you said, like in photos as a human, it looks really crazy, because the way she draws it is very cartoony, and it works. But as a human, you need to add some more depth to it. So that was a good decision that you made, kind of going with that lighter pink, because then in a photo you can see all those like depths in your face.
Right, exactly. Like, even you can see, like, when Sam did her hair test, the wig and the skin are not quite the same color. So
I made the skin more golden so that it would have like kind of a shimmer to it.
Yeah.
So and then even with Jupiter, I didn't make her skin as dark because I wanted the purple to pop more. And then with Aries, I toned down the red so that you could see more definition.
Yeah. So it's, and I love to see all the different interpretations of the Lore Olympus webtoons, because people take it so many different ways.
This is where when I did a test too, where I tried to do exactly the color, it did not turn out well. It did not go well.
When you do those dark colors, same thing with makeup, it starts to get like murky. And you can't like see anything that's going on. It's just so dark. You don't need like that really high contrast of lights and darks in order to like get that very cartoony kind of feel to it. Lore Olympus, I think, is like a great example of how people interpret it, in their cosplays so differently.
Definitely.
You get very vibrant Persephones, you have very pastel Persephones. They all look awesome. It's just, whatever your preference is.
Yeah, like I can share my Artemis too, because Artemis is just like purple, like, and I kind of take it here with different layers of purples. I even put a little bit of like black purple in the lipstick. But yeah, I had a couple different eyeshadow shades that I used to like create depths. I even did put a highlighter too.
Yeah, because these are unique characters, so that they can put highlights and shadows in places that we may not be able to achieve because our bodies catch light differently.
Yeah.
So that's where you do have to figure out what color palette's going to work also on your skin tone, because your skin tone itself can change how the color is displayed. So if you don't white out your skin, then you're going to have to be like, okay, well, how much lighter or darker do I need to go to make it at least look similar to this character?
I mean, and definitely you can do it in post. Like, I know people do a lot of like photoshopping at the end.
Well, I had to do that for Aries' eyes, because I'm like, I don't have any sclera red lenses.
I thought you closed your eyes and painted over your eyelid.
That's what I thought too. Oh my
God. Sounds like I can't.
I photoshopped and then I added the powder effect to make it look like makeup.
Oh,
well, then. There you go. There's a whole nother episode of how to Photoshop your image. Your
Sam, you are truly an original.
I just thought that I have like really, so I have really large pronounced eyes. So painting on top of them does not work very well. I've learned this. I've tried so many different ways. And the minute I blink or move my eye, like I have to use my eyes to walk around. The minute I open my eyes and close them, no matter how well I sealed it, that paint's gone.
The struggle's real, guys. We like already have been chatting for an hour.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Wow.
Well, I guess we gotta wrap it up.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. Guys, if you are watching, don't forget we have a Discord. We're trying to grow our Discord channel. I will throw it here in the chat. All are welcome. You don't have to be a cosplayer. You can invite your friends that are interested in cosplay. It's all you got to do is be interested in cosplay and want to support the community. They don't even need to be watching the show, but we would love it if your friends are watching the show. But please join us and invite all of your friends. And you guys want to wrap it up?
Yeah, if you want to reach me, you just go to ThermoCosplay.com, and I'll be updating the CosTalk-live.com website along with ThermoCosplay later next week. I have a whole list of things that I'm doing, so you'll see more updates on both of our websites here soon.
Yay! And okay, where did you say where they could find you? Did I just
ThermoCosplay.com?
Yes. She said the website.
God, guys, the heat's getting to me. It's so hot.
It really does. Honestly,
that's why
Ambrose Cosplay. You guys can find me at Ambrose_Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, Instructables, and Original Glaze now.
Yay! Oh yeah, Original Glaze. Yeah, I'm on Original Glaze too. I think I'm on social medias as the Jinx Cosplay on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and on my website, jinxcosplay.com as well. Oh, and you can find us again. We stream on 3 platforms every Sunday at 3. Oh, sorry, God, the heat. Let me start again. We stream every Sunday on 3 platforms at 12 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So please follow us on those platforms if you like us. Share us with your friends. Next week's topic, Sam, is 4th of July. We have not quite confirmed what we're doing yet.
We'll let you guys know. We're not sure what we're doing. Yeah, we have ideas, but we're not entirely sure because we don't know who is going to be available. So.
Yeah, but we will have a show because I will be available. I think
it might end up being a craft show if we can't figure something out. It might just be that we craft live.
Yeah, and you guys can always, we always love to hear your suggestions. So, but we will be on next Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. If you are bored or would like to join us, we'll be there. And of course, as always, guys, you can always send us suggestions of shows or guests or anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, stay cool out there, guys. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.